I'm getting something on the distress channel.
Under the neutral zone in 1 minute, Captain.
Now entering the neutral zone.
The end of all life as we know it, and a new Picard series that takes place after all life ends. Hi, I'm John, and welcome to Neutral Zone Chat. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes and hit a couple of topics that Josh and I weren't able to talk about last week on our review of If Memory Serves. Josh and I are both doing a lot of traveling this week, and I just wanted to get a few of these things out. Hey, by the way, thank you so much. We had more people view and share last week's review than we've ever had in our very short history. Josh and I have been doing the Neutral Zone for a little over a year, and we tried it as an audio version and as a video version, and we finally kind of went all out this season and have tried to really up our game a little bit. But more than anything, we think Star Trek is fun, and even though Discovery does have some things that kind of makes us nuts sometimes, we don't think Discovery should be getting all the completely negative reviews from some of the Star Trek fan base. It's a free world, you can do whatever you want, but we really think Discovery isn't that bad. It's been pretty enjoyable, and I look forward to it every week. So that's the reason we created a Neutral Zone. And we had some great comments, and I want to talk about a couple of those in a second, but let me update you first on some things you probably have already heard about. That was passed in the last week or so about the Picard series. So the Picard series, we still don't know exactly when it's going to launch, but we're figuring it's going to probably be in the fall. We don't know how many episodes yet that we're aware of, but they have signed some cast. The series, we'll call it a series, is supposed to take place 20 years past The Next Generation, so I'm assuming 20 years past Nemesis. So they're putting it at 2399, so right on the edge of the 25th century. They're saying it's supposed to revolve around the destruction of Romulus, which again makes you kind of wonder, are they playing with the Kelvin prime timelines with the show? Don't know, but it does make you kind of wonder. There's been some rumors, and I'm very fascinated and very interested that they're talking about this may be something where Picard is not in Starfleet anymore. Kind of a Guardians of the Galaxy. He gathers some renegade members of some fleets and goes out to try to find something, archaeology, something to save Romulus. I don't know. I like that idea. I kind of like the idea of Star Trek without the Federation. Hanelle Culpepper is going to be directing a few of these episodes. Now, I don't know her personally. I don't run in the Hollywood circles or anything like that, but I'm very impressed with her resume. She has a thriller, I wouldn't call it horror, but I would call it more of a thriller-based directing style. She did direct, I believe, the first episode of this season. And one of the things I really think Star Trek does very well at and needs to continue to embrace is that mystery thriller style of filmmaking. Classic case in point would be Wrath of Khan when they go on to Regular One, and it's that suspense thrilling. We don't know who's around what corner, and the rats show up in the soundtrack. Hanelle seems like she's got these kind of gifts, that she's a good director in this, and I would love to see the Picard series be something a little bit different, a little bit more, not dark in the sense of evil, but dark in the sense of mystery. I think mysteries are great ways to tell Star Trek episodes, Star Trek 6, on and on and on. When the episodes in The Next Generation, when Picard knew everything, we know this is a Klingon trap, or we know this is. I didn't like that. I like the mystery, peeling the onion a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see. She's done a lot of supernatural thriller stuff that seems to be her kind of her wheelhouse. So, for Hanelle, I wish her all the best, and I hope that maybe we can talk to her on Neutral Zone Chat sometime in the future. I'd love to find out more about her. Directors this week, we have episode 9 coming up. That's going to be Jonathan Frakes, and you just know it's going to be good. So I'm excited about that. So the final thing I want to talk about in our short little mini Neutral Zone Chat here real quick is I put out on the YouTube channel, and you follow us, neutralzonechat.com is our main mothership, but all of our videos are on YouTube, as well as we have funny little memes and stuff that I make up on Instagram. So if you get a chance to watch those, you'll love them and laugh your butt off. But I put the question out earlier this week. What do you think the things are that are going to destroy the planets that they showed last week? And if you remember from the previous week, the thing came in and destroyed the shuttlecraft. Now, here's what we know about them, at least vaguely. the whatever it is took a probe from the Discovery 500 years into the future and modified it to turn it into what look like the same kind of probes that destroy the Federation. So again, I think we're dealing with time travel. We have pretty well all established, and I think we've all embraced the fact that the Red Angel is from the future. So the big question a lot of people have been asking this week, since we know the Red Angel, we're assuming, is from the future, and revealed to Spock in a premonition that Burnham was going to be killed, and then Spock then altered the future by saving Burnham, that Discovery is in an alternate timeline, and that the Red Angel has changed the prime timeline because it saved Burnham. Well, let's look at this. The Red Angel has also moved those folks from Earth right before World War III in 2051 to the Beta Quadrant, and the Red Angel's been screwing with the timeline quite a bit. So you could argue the Red Angel is creating its own timeline, perhaps, or it's putting the timeline the way it should be. As Captain Picard said during yesterday's Enterprise, "What is to say this timeline is any better than that timeline?" So I guess that's my point. So I'm not quite drinking the Kool-Aid on the fact that because the Red Angel is fooling around with the timeline, that Burnham has to die in order to restore the timeline. So let's just take a second and breathe and remember that it's very hard for the Star Trek franchise to kill off any major character. They've never been able to do it. So follow me around the block here. Imagine for a second the Red Angel saves the universe, and then we go back to dealing with Burnham and the Section 31 killing Burnham's parents. If they can go back in time and save Burnham's parents, Burnham does not grow up on Vulcan, she grows up on Earth. Burnham would therefore not be on the bridge, or at least if she was on the bridge of the Senjo with Giorgio, she would not be able to tell them about the Vulcan hello, perhaps. Thus, the Klingon War is avoided, the Federation goes back to what we would call a prime timeline, and Spock goes on without having a sister, Burnham goes on without having her brother, and perhaps that's what they would do to fix everything, because I do not believe they would ever attempt to kill Burnham off. To kill off a female lead actor for Star Trek, I think, would be a phenomenally bad optic for CBS to deal with at this point. That's my guess. Don't know if it's true. I wouldn't put anything past these writers. They're very creative, and they come up with some interesting concepts. They tick off a lot of Star Trek fans, but you know what? I like going with the flow, and it's kind of fun to see what's going on. So, again, thank you so much for joining us on the Neutral Zone. Do us a favor, subscribe to our channel. We don't have very many subscribers, and it's okay. We're building this thing, and I'd like to know more about what you'd like to see Josh and I discuss, because once Discovery wraps up here in about another month, we're going to have a lot to talk about, either about Discovery, we want to go back and talk about Deep Space Nine, some of the original series stuff, and we could talk about anything. You know, my expertise is more in the Next Generation and the original series. Josh is more Next Generation, Deep Space Nine. But we're open to talk about anything. We want to be a great place for fans of Star Trek to discuss and be positive about this great show that we think is just a lot of fun to watch. So, again, thank you for joining us. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us in our funny memes on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else. And we'll see you a little later this week, probably on Saturday, with the review of Episode 9. We'll see you on Neutral Zone.